Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, would you please take roll call?
Dave Abdallah.
Here.
Bill Bazzi.
Here.
Robert Constant.
Here.
Lisa Hicks Clayton.
Here.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Here.
Ray Muscat.
Here.
Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Tonight, I'd like to have Georgianne Semenuk say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. First, before we go into the agenda approval, I need to make some adjustments. On the agenda for tonight, 6.4, I have to remove that because there's not a complete signature on the document. It's not completely signed. There's a blank spot. So we need to bring that back at the next meeting completely signed. On 9-A, we're pulling that one because the Comptroller Vance did not provide the line-by-line itemization as council requested because she was going on vacation, and she said she'd do it when she gets back, so we can bring that back at the next meeting, too, when we have all the supporting documentation.
9A.
It's
What was
9B.
that?
9A?
9A?
Oh,
No.
I'm sorry, 9B.
9B.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 9B. I apologize. 9B. And then 6-7, there was a possible conflict of interest that has been brought to my attention, and I have concerns over it, so until I get that resolved, I do need to pull 6-7 from the agenda tonight. And then also, too, I am removing 9G.
6-7.
Whoops, 6-7. So we got 6-4, 9B, 6-7. Put these on here. And then 9G.
Madam Chair.
9G, I am removing, this is the mayor attempting to hold a senior trip hostage for his own personal agenda.
I beg your
I have
pardon.
been, excuse me, point of
attention,
order.
Point of attention.
I have been approached by seniors who have heard that if they come to our council meeting and have us stop the audit, the senior trips would not be canceled. This is all a smoke and screen stall tactic by the mayor to interfere with the forensic audit that the council voted for.
That's an entire lie.
The senior trips are an administrative decision, not city council's. If Mayor Pleco and administration wants to interfere with senior trips, that is their decision, not ours. So we're referring 9G back to administration and Mayor Pleco to do as they choose.
Would the Councilman Bazzi not object anymore to those payments? And the rest of the council? We're just asking for the
All right,
council
point of
to
order,
agree.
point of order.
This
We're
is
at-
America, but you can't
That's a-
talk at the council meeting.
This is a council meeting, not a mayor meeting. Just remember that. You're interfering with the city council doing city business.
The charter gives me the right to discuss items
Yes,
at
but
the
it does not
meeting.
give you right to interrupt and speak out of turn without being acknowledged.
Can I be acknowledged, Chair?
Okay, go ahead.
9G was put on because Councilman Bazzi, at one of the last two meetings ago, objected to payments. I came up, and John Riley came up and said those payments were for senior trips, and he suggested that somehow elected officials and appointed people were taking those trips, and they are not. And therefore, we wanted clarification because it was suggested like there was something illegal. So
Okay,
we
that's-
wanted to know if the council is agreeable to how, for the last 30 years or so, these senior trips have been done. So
Okay,
the
it's a-
resolution was on there to get your approval that we can continue to operate as we have for the last 30 years.
Well,
Thank
it's
you.
understandable, but that's an administrative function, and we can't even vote on it. So go ahead and make your decision, and, you know, if you want to do it the way we've all done it in the past, I have no problem with that.
Well, that's what we intended to do, but we
Okay.
wanted clarification from this council after the attack by Councilman Bazzi.
Okay, thank you very
on all of
much.
us.
All right, all right. Now, at this point, we're going to move, I'm sorry, we're going to move on to agenda approval.
Ma-
Chair, I just have one question.
No, no more comments at this time.
I think it'd be a remark on these removed items.
You can't. at this point, because they're removed. You can do it at the end when it's from the council table. That's where it would end up at. Okay. At this point, we're going to go for agenda approval.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the order of business for June 11th, 2019, regular meeting of Dearborn Heights City Council with the removal of the two fund transfers and current claims as you had listed, as well as 9B and 9G.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Muscat. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have on the agenda approval of minutes. This is the minutes from the regular meeting of May 28, 2019.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Abdullah.
I move that we approve the minutes from May 28, 2019, the regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council as outlined in item 4A. Should I do the next one altogether?
No, that's a separate one.
Okay, I'll wait.
Do I hear support on that?
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman Hicks Clayton. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next on approval of minutes is the minutes from the special meeting of June 3rd, 2019.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move to approve the minutes from June 3rd, 2019. This is a special meeting at Dearborn Heights City Council as outlined in 4B.
Okay.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Abdullah. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have public hearing and comment on agenda items, and that's the items that are currently left on this agenda. There's a limit of 2 minutes. I ask you come to the podium and give your name, address, and 2 minutes, please. And this is on agenda, items that are just on the agenda.
Good evening, Zuhair Abdullah, Dearborn Heights. I heard that our magistrate Dan Rivard is leaving, retiring. I just want to acknowledge that he's done a great job for the city. He was always a gentleman, he was always a good person, and I thank him for his service on behalf of myself and my family. And I want to thank Judge David Turfy for the great choice he made to appoint for magistrate Muna Fadlallah. I think she's going to be a great addition to our court, and she's going to do a great job. And I wish her good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any more public hearing and comment on agenda items? Okay, next we have fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair,
Councilman Muscat.
I move council approve fund transfers and current claims 1 through 30 as outlined.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Bazey.
I'm just curious on this. I've been tracking these signatures on these invoices. The signatures on them for the department heads don't actually match the signatures, other signatures that the department heads actually submit on other items. So I'm wondering who's actually signing those invoices?
Oh, well, they should be initialing them, but I agree with you. I've noticed the same thing. If you've got one director signing here by, like, Director Smith here and Director Smith here, it's 2 different signatures, even though it's the same name, and I've been watching that happen, too. Like myself, on the cover letter for the council meetings, I don't always sign it, and you will notice that my secretary, Lynn, initials after my name when she signs it, and that should be happening on the rest of these. Does anybody have an answer to this? Who's been signing these and not initialing them?
Well, I'll speak for myself. I sign the actual invoices, but if there's open POs, those are signed by somebody in the comptroller's office. I don't sign those, because those are already
Comptroller Vance?
existing open POs, but the actual invoice, I do sign.
Okay.
So, but I don't sign the open PO, so.
Comptroller Vance?
So I don't know if you're talking about the front claim side.
Yes.
Okay, I sign my name plus the director's name only if I see a signature from the director on the original invoice to get it going through. I sign on their behalf because
Okay.
they submitted it.
Can we have you initial them in the future just to show us for record purposes that you actually were the one that signed it and not the director?
I mean, it would be all of them because except for the ones that I don't,
Well, that's generally procedure, though, because that's what they do with me. If I don't sign it,
I can do that I was just told, as long as I reviewed it and seen that someone signed the invoice, or if it was a PO that didn't necessarily need a signature, to sign on behalf of, I'm just on the claim sheet, not approve it, so that I can put initials next to it.
All right, thanks. Okay. Councilman Abdullah?
Just noticed, and this is on item 621, one from Plant Moran. The authorized official on that one, similar to the earlier one you had mentioned, has either whited out or no signature under the authorized official, so
It is whited out. I think we should pull that one too, then. 6-21.
The directors signed the invoice, and so
Yeah, but the final procedure is to sign the front page with all 3 signatures. So let's just keep it consistent, because the other people have to do it. We need to just keep it the same.
and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So 6-21, we're going to remove that.
That's 2-3 is Plant Moran.
621 is Plant Moran also.
6-21, the pay is Plant
I'm sorry, I'm
Moran.
looking at the minutes.
No problem. Okay, Councilman Muscat?
I have a few questions. First one's on 6-2. It's dues members, and I believe I made a mistake and put 6-2 on there by accident, I'm sorry, but 6-15, sorry. The memory serves me correct, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but the amount that the contract service for lining, and then we got reimbursed from that company for the cost of them putting up that homeowner when they failed to put the hole in. Wasn't that amount the same amount of $79,000, and are still refunding us $9,631?
It's 90.
I mean, they're saying that the original contract was $91,340. I'd like to see the paperwork on that, to see the original paperwork, because I believe that wasn't $91,000, I don't think. I think it was less than that. I may be
The
mistaken about
contract
that.
price was $91,340.
Pardon?
The
Yeah, it says
$91,340.
$91,340, but I thought it was less than that, so that's why I want to question that. Not that I'm not going to approve this, I just want to make sure that we get the right amount of money back to our city.
And that payment that's being asked for now is less the numbers that the city paid for. A, putting the people up, B, hiring a subcontractor to go on camera at C, to have another contractor come and reinstate that lateral, and D, for the cleanup
Correct.
company to go in there and clean the home up.
Correct, but I just thought that amount that they originally gave us was lower than what they're claiming now.
That's the paperwork that I inherited.
Okay, then I will check with the comptroller's office and the clerk's office.
I have
and other
everything.
paperwork. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
But I have one more
Go ahead.
here. 616, again, it's Mr. Selmy. Where was this work done here? On the Duro last membrane for the roof?
That work was completed here at this building here.
On this building here, thank you. And then on 626, and I see this amount all the time, assist DPW on water and sewer budget. How many times do we have to pay that? How many times do we have to pay that? I mean, I've seen that about 3 or 4 times this year alone.
Well, the backup material's included in your packet there, and so it might be various items that we've been working on the budget on different types of budgetary items. So-
Would you like to comment
But
on
Dan can explain his billings.
The water budget process is over several months, and that's a monthly bill.
Okay, so it's a monthly bill?
Right.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I just need
Councilman Abdullah?
clarification on that.
No, I just wanted to get a clarification for Councilman Muscat on that one that you were asking about earlier. It said that was the work, I don't know which one it was offhand, but the work that was completed to date. So I think it may have just cost them, I'm just projecting,
Okay.
I don't know, it cost them a little bit less than they
Okay.
anticipated.
All right, thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
You got the controller.
Sure, Comptroller Vance?
When it comes to the Lanslow one, if you look at the second page, don't know what it says the original contract was 91,340, and then worked to date was 89,201.80, less the amount earned, which is the same, less reimbursement for city expenses where the backup's behind it, so then that's what the 79 is. I'm not sure what that is.
No, the confusion, I thought the original amount that they were charging us before we stopped paying them was less than $98,000,
So the contract says 91.
or 91, whatever it
You're
was.
thinking the 91 is the wrong number.
Correct.
Okay.
So I will look up it, I will have our secretary look that up on the previous and find the actual original sheet. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, so we need to amend the motion to remove 6-21.
Councilman Muscat.
I've
made a
lost
motion.
track of
I
who
make
made.
a motion to remove 6-21
Second.
per
Okay, and
no
who
signature.
seconded it last
Aye,
time?
second.
Second by Councilman Bazey. Any more discussion in regards to this? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have consideration of bids. DPW Director Selmy to advertise for bids for sewer infrastructure maintenance contract.
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
I move council accept the request for proposals for comprehensive and proactive program to control and manage the city's aging sewer infrastructure as outlined in 7A.
Support.
Support by Councilwoman Hicks Clayton. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Mazzy.
so are we getting rid of pipe tech with this, or?
No, sir. So this is, before I was hired here, the council went out to bid and awarded a cleaning contract and a television contract to Pipe Tech is the company. But there is no sewer lining contract in place. So as Pipe Tech goes out and does proactive work, cleaning sewers, identifying problems, the other piece of that is to have a lining contractor on board to do that. So every time we find an issue, we don't have to go out to bid. The council will approve a contract for a term price. So, and this will be like a 5-year plan on the sewer side. So you'll have a cleaning contract, you'll have a video contract, and then you will have a lining contract. So as problems arise in this aging system, when we identify it, we already have the contractor on board that can do the lining portion of this. So this goes hand in hand. So this wasn't done prior, so this is a little cleanup.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
It's a good maintenance, preventative maintenance, and predictive maintenance tool.
Okay,
Thank
any
you.
further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Next, we have reports from the mayor, the 2019-2020 major and local street budget.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move to adopt the 2019-2020 major and local street budget as outlined in Agenda Item 8A.
Second.
Supported by Councilman Bazey. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Abdullah.
just for the disclosure for the residents, that we did have somewhat of a study session just before
It's
the
on
meeting
tape,
on this, so
too.
just so at least they're aware that we're not just approving it on the spot.
Yeah, because I think that's included in the tape, right? Yeah, our study
Separate tape.
sessions are taped, so. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, from reports from city officials, we have Chief Judge Turfy, 20th District Court part-time magistrate appointment.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
I move that city council concur with the position of part-time magistrate for the 20th District Court to Mona M. Fadala, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and for effective July 1st, 2019, and she comes highly, highly recommended with an absolute phenomenal resume. And I thank you, Mr. Turfy, for going out and doing this.
Thank you.
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman Hicks Clayton. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Abdullah.
Just want to say that I've personally worked with Mona Fadlala multiple times in many different organizations over the years, many, many years, and I just want to let you know that I concur with Chief Judge David Turfy that she's somebody that's very fair, of extremely high character, and very professional, and at least I'll speak on my behalf, we are honored to have her with us here in Dearborn Heights.
Absolutely.
Thank you. like to?
I actually want to recuse my vote due to a conflict of interest, so I will not be voting.
Understandable. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations. Welcome. Kate.
She's right there.
She's right here. Would you like to
You may wanna
stand
stand
up?
up.
Come on up to the microphone and introduce yourself so everybody knows
You
who
need to do
you
your
are.
acceptance speech.
You look so nice today. We want to all, come on
microphone.
up and introduce yourself. So everybody knows who you are now. When they see you on the street, they can stop you.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much. I wouldn't have worn linen, as I said, because I'm all wrinkled now. I'm extremely, extremely honored. I've been practicing for 17 years. I've been going to the Dearborn Heights Courthouse for many years. I've been handling court-appointed cases. I don't really have to, but I feel like it's my duty to help those that need the assistance. So I've known many of these individuals up here, Gary, Mr. Mayor, and Dave, Bill Bazzi, several people, some of the people in here, so I'm very honored.
Thank you.
You can get the red off your face now from being embarrassed.
The element of surprise. Okay, next item on the agenda from reports from city officials, we have Comptroller Vance, the budget amendment, I'm sorry, corporate fund. Well, that was pulled. Yeah, 9B and 9C.
9G.
C wasn't, but 9B was.
9B was,
9B was not 9C.
not 9C.
9C, okay.
Doesn't that come together? I mean,
Are those two one and the same? No. Well, let's see, let me see what it is again.
Current budget.
9C is required by state law that there's no negatives in any of the accounts. The big item in
Okay,
here
I
is
see, yes, you're right.
the purchase of the
You're
golf
right,
course.
You're right, 9C is separate, so, okay, at this point, we are introducing 9C, Budget Amendment Corporate Fund.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton?
You need some, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. So again, this is to balance, like the mayor said, you can't have a negative ending, so it's the current budget. With that, move to approve the budget amendments as outlined in 9C.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Muscat.
I have one question, and it's on the third page for cable TV. I see where it's 57.5, and it was degraded out, and it said part-time new. Why is that the only one that has new in parentheses?
That wasn't on there.
I'll have to ask the controller to answer it.
Ms. Comptroller? That's the only one that says new on it, and all the other ones that have parentheses around them and degraded out and put back in do not have new.
Okay, so when we had our budget sessions for the new budget, the payroll system, all the numbers are unified for all of the salaries. So part-time has a certain GL account number, different by department. And for some reason, in the cable budget, they had a different number, the 706,001. And so we had this conversation why there was two part-time line items in the cable when we were doing the next budget. What I'm doing is, because the new system is automatically posting all of the payroll to the new item, but last year it was budgeted to the old item. So I'm taking the money out of the old budget line and putting it into the new one. So it's a net zero. It's just moving it from one account to another.
I do remember now, thank you.
So that's all I'm doing, is I was just cleaning house so that when we don't have a negativity.
Thank you.
Councilman
So
Abdullah.
Controller, just one more question. Can you please give us a little bit of a description in regards to the golf course lease there at 1.573 million?
Okay, so it's not a lease. It was just, that was the line item. There wasn't a budgeted line item for that item in last year's budget. And that was the line item that the prior year, the down payment was put under. So when we paid the golf course off, it came under that line. That's why I put lease in parentheses, because if you look under the GL accounts, it says it's a lease, but it was actually just where that item was posted, so I'm just putting the money in there.
Okay, and for
Thank you.
full disclosure, I just want to say that I did speak with Comptroller Vance, and she did mention that there would be no movement between different departments. Any of the
Yeah.
movements are within the same department.
Within the same department, same thing with the capturing of the revenue, and what, as I stated on the bottom here, even though when you look at the difference on the front page of revenue and the appropriation of fund balance, When you look at the 2 million of appropriation, 1.5, almost 1.6 is actually the golf course. The additional 500, I'm guessing, when everything shakes out at the end, we really won't be appropriating this much. It's just, we do it for housekeeping to make sure that everything balances, because I can't move money from the treasurers to the clerks, or I can't take excess building revenue and apply it to other departments, even though other items might be falling under budget. It's just to fix those.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other
further
questions?
discussion? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, under reports from city officials, we have DPW Director Selmy, MKR Investment Storm Water Operation and Maintenance Resolution and Agreement.
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
I move that council approve the long-term maintenance stormwater management resolution and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the operation and maintenance agreement upon review and concurrence from Corporation Counsel Gary Miyake as outlined in 9D.
Support.
Support by Councilman Abdullah. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Abdullah.
Unlike the one at 9E, and I just want to make sure if I could speak with Director Selmy, this one didn't have a Wayne County permit, whereas the second one did. So I just want to make sure we're okay as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, just one applicant provided us the permit, the other one didn't, but they have the permit numbers in the letters.
So we're good? Okay.
Yeah, and they've all been reviewed by corporate counsel. This is my third crack at this, so we're all good to go, and third time's the charm, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, they don't need to be reviewed by me because these are, I made the changes I needed to make and resubmitted them before they were submitted to you. So
Okay.
you can just approve them as submitted.
Any further discussion? Councilman Wenzel.
Yeah, can you define long-term and what would actually you're going to do?
Long-term, well, long-term pretty much speaks for itself, long-term. So the property owner, as a condition of their stormwater permit, enters into an agreement with the city that basically the county requires to have happen under the Stormwater Act, that the property owner is responsible for the maintenance and repair of that storage facility or whatever their method is. If not, this gives the authority to the local community to go in there, make the necessary corrections or maintenance that's needed, and has a tool in there that allows us to charge back for that.
Okay, well,
So long-term is going to be 30 years.
System.
Yeah, I mean, is that going to, that means forever? I mean, we can do that. This will be good forever then.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman
And
Constant.
we have the same requirement under local ordinance that the stormwater retention.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is reports from city officials, the DPW Director Selmy, approval to dispose of used equipment.
Wait,
The 9E.
9E.
We got to go to 9E.
Oh,
There's two stormwater.
oh, you know what? I crossed them both off because I saw it said stormwater. Okay, I got it. Okay, it is 9E, DPW Director Selmy, Water Venture Stormwater Operation and Maintenance Resolution and Agreement. Yeah, it's almost exactly the
Chair.
same. Councilman Abdullah.
I move that we concur with Department of Public Works Director John Selmy to go through the Warren Venture Long-Term Maintenance of Stormwater Management System Resolution for stormwater improvements located at 26919 Warren Road, which requires the City of Dearborn Heights approval as required by the Wayne County Stormwater Ordinance as outlined in item 9E.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next, we have DPW Director Selmy, approval to dispose of used equipment.
Council Chair.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
I move City Council concur with Director Selmy in approval for disposing of the following vehicles. There's multiple vehicles here as outlined in 9F.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Abdullah. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Councilman.
You read it.
Councilman Muscat.
What are we going to do with these vehicles? Are they going to be sold at
Yeah,
auction?
so a couple of them are beyond repair. Like there's a 1981 Ford van that has basically been sitting out in the pasture to rot. There are some of these vehicles that are auctionable, so there's a municipal auctioneer that does this. We'll take pictures of them, we'll mail them out to them, they'll put them on a website, and then we'll auction them off that way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Actually, that was my question. I wanted to make sure when you say dispose of versus putting them up for auction. So you're going to auction, you mentioned some of the vehicles.
Yeah, the ones that we can, there's a couple that are scrap.
Can we make a note of this? Which one we're disposing, which ones we're auctioning off?
So the 1981 for sure we'll dispose of.
Okay.
The rest we'll try to auction off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Wenzel.
Can you give us an update on the new street sweepers, and what's our fleet number now on those?
That's not part of this.
I'm sorry, what's the what?
This,
I know, it's just,
leave it at the end.
okay.
Yeah, because that's not,
just do it up there,
it doesn't
but-
pertain to this. We're only talking about disposal of used equipment at this point. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have Police Chief Bolt Attorney requests for approval for Motorola Services Agreement and second quarter payment approval.
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
I move council approve the maintenance agreement with Motorola for services period March 1st, 2019 through February 28th, 2020, as outlined in 9H.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have Police Chief Bolt Attorney request for approval, replacement UPS, which is uninterruptible power supply, batteries, installation, and shipping for the Justice Center.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Abdullah.
I move that we concur with Police Chief Dan Beltatoni, requesting approval for the following: replacement of UPS for the Justice Center, Power Patrol SLA 1075 batteries installation and shipping with a cost of $3,471.60 as outlined in item 9I.
Support. Supported by Councilwoman Hicks Clayton. Is there any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
Is this for the mainframe, or is this just for individual computers?
That is the backup for the dispatch system.
Okay, for the entire,
For the fire-
the actual mainframe for the fire and dispatch?
Fire, yeah.
Okay, thank
Police
you.
fire dispatch.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next, under ordinances and resolutions, we have Council Pro Tem Bazey, first reading of proposed ordinance number H-19-06, smoking lounges.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Bazey.
I move City Council to approve first reading of ordinance number H-19-06 by adding Article 5 concerning establishment and operation of smoking lounges as outlined in 11A.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Muscat. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Abdullah.
I read through this and did some search on this. I personally believe that it's probably best that we take this to a study session since there's a lot of variables involved here, and I've read through it a couple different times, and I just think it should be a little bit open to discussion just to make sure that we make the right decision on this before we move forward.
Council Chair.
Councilman Muscat.
I also am going to agree with Councilman Abdullah on the study session, but I think we should be able to read this for the first time now. So once we go through the study session and we can make any changes, then approve it immediately.
Well,
I'd support that.
I guess, too, we've had a moratorium on this for 6 months almost, so we should have had the study session long before
Yeah,
this
but
if there
we-
was a question on it.
Yeah, but I guess now's the time to do it, so.
Okay, 'cause
I
we've
would
had it for
suggest
months,
I
but
suggest a study session ASAP.
Okay, well, let's do the
concur.
first reading and then go.
Yes.
Okay.
Council Chair? Yeah, I would just, in general, I mean, this looks like it was patterned after an ordinance from Ypsilanti Township that I was familiar with, but there's just a couple minor things that I would probably tweak. But the one thing that I would recommend, and recommend strongly, is that this not be handled with criminal penalties, but rather that it be municipal civil infractions. And specifically, we've had serious problems with doing these things as criminal penalties. You end up having a ticket issued to, for example, an LLC, or even to someone who's affiliated with it. If we end up having municipal civil infractions, they don't show up to court, we get a default, we can end up getting an injunction forcing them to end up doing things to come into compliance. It's just a more effective way to do things, and that's what we generally end up doing. So
That'll probably come out in the study session. We'll figure that out in the study session.
And I'll come to the study session. Very good.
Any further comment?
Madam Chair?
Councilman Constant?
Yeah, and one other point, if it's a criminal offense, then the defendant has the right to a jury trial, which...
Right, we've already determined we'll discuss that in a study session and tweak it so we don't have the criminal part in there.
So I guess the motion would be...
First reading.
First reading and then go to study session.
You're making a
No, we're doing the first reading, so we can still go to study session for
But we have to
before
add
the
that in
second reading.
I'm going to ask the clerk if we need to make that motion to go also add it into study session.
You can, or you don't have to. The council chair can call a study
I'll call
session.
study session before the second reading.
I still support the original motion then.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. That's the first reading, and then we will schedule a study session in regards to it before the second reading. Next, we have DPW Director Salmi, resolution to support Wayne County State Recovery Fund project plan submittal.
Good evening again. With what you have in front of you there is a letter from myself regarding the Wayne County Department of Public Services looking for support, a resolution of support to go out for SRF loan, which is a sewer revolving fund loan for the Rouge Valley system, of which Dearborn Heights is a part of. I have with us Kelly Cade from the Department of Public Service in Wayne County, Patrick McCulley, Township or City Attorney, excuse me, regarding the sewer issues in Dan Brook. So I'll gladly turn it over to them to give you a brief overview, and if you have any questions.
I think at this point, it's just a motion on the table. I mean,
We don't have a motion, do we?
well,
Madam Chair, I'll move to adopt the resolution as submitted, will be.
I'll support.
Then it'll be.
okay, we have Councilwoman Hicks Clayton, supported by Councilman Muscat. Did you have any questions? Does anybody?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Why is Wayne County Airport not the least amount? They're paying on the last page, they're down at the bottom, and they're 0.21.
So this is Kelly Cade. This
Hi,
is Kelly Cade. She's with the Department of Public Services for Wayne County, so she'll be your expert.
I would think they use more water than just about anybody.
It's sewage disposal, it's not water.
Or, sewage disposal.
The primary outlet for the wastewater generated at the Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County Airport is the downriver sewage disposal system. In the winter, when there's a lot of glycol that they spray on the planes for de-icing, they need to have a secondary outlet. And so they have a secondary outlet for the glycol-only portion of the wastewater to the Rouge Valley sewage disposal system. So their discharges are only for part of the year, the winter part, and so that is why their percentage is what it is.
So how's that metered? Is there some sort of meter that's taking in their flow right where it goes in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I might, Madam Chair,
Mayor?
Kelly is I was glad that she was kept on when they were removing everybody from Wayne County, because her knowledge and expertise on the Wayne County drains, I don't know anybody that is a close second. So thank you for your service and your continued service. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of you, because I understand there's a bunch of stuff coming down with the Rouge that we'll be presenting to the council, 6 months, 3 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Wenzel.
I'd like one of those meters on my lawn sprinkler system.
So do I.
Yeah, we
I've
all
been pushing
do.
that for many years.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, let's take a vote on this. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, it carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, we have members of the public. Okay, we have comments from council members. Councilman Wenzel, I know you have a comment you had to ask. You wanted to...
Oh, yeah, John, while you're up there, can you give us a brief summary on the new street sweepers? Are they in operation yet?
Yep, so we received them 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, something along those lines. We had training on it that day. Later in that afternoon, the guys were in the actual sweeping in our parking lot for a little bit, and then they've actually went out on the roads with them that same day. So the transition seems to be smooth. The employees are very grateful for, some nice, new, efficient equipment.
How many do we have on the streets now?
Yes, sir.
How many?
How many?
Yes.
So we have the 2 new ones, and we have 3 other ones. As part of the condition of buying those, we traded into.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Go ahead, but along those lines, if you don't mind, Council Wenzel, do we have a real good preventative maintenance schedule for those street sweepers so they last us a very long time?
Yep, there is a preventive maintenance program that is recommended with those. Part of that also is, I don't know, I think they, in my opinion, and past practice is that probably overswept with those machines. Once you get through a certain part of the summertime when the helicopters and all the things that come out of the trees are down, and the streets have all been swept once or twice, it's probably a good idea to wait back till fall and then start back up. Obviously if we have complaints or something, we would pick up in there, but I think when you running them all the time, that really adds up the hours real quickly.
Okay.
Chair,
Councilman, I'm sorry, we've got Councilwoman Hicks Clayton next.
You didn't finish.
Okay, go ahead, Councilman.
Thanks. I attended a golf outing this weekend at Warren Valley Golf Course. It was a great time. The course was in great condition. The staff was excellent. The food was outstanding. Everyone there had a great time. If anyone wants to go golfing or have a golf outing, I suggest that's where they go. If they need a cater, that's where they go. If they have a banquet or a funeral brunch or any kind of event, that's where you go. It's very nice. It's very good time. Also, I attended the Spirit Festival, and it looked pretty good. I went on Sunday, and it was a big crowd there, a lot of people on the rides. I understand it was a record year, and I think we'll hear more about it. However, I was approached right when I got to the festival by a senior citizen asking me about the issue with the senior trips. I talked to him for a couple minutes. My family stood by patiently. Walked about another 100 feet, got asked again. Talked to the person, kind of tried to avoid people walking my direction. So over the course of an hour and 15 minutes, 7 different times I got stopped. And I had to leave the festival and go to a private Zap zone, take my kids to the Zap zone because this issue was so bothering me, and I couldn't stay with my family. So that, I just had to make that point. And I wanted an update on the marked cars. Are all the cars that were supposed to be marked, are they marked?
Nope.
Mayor Pleco, would you like to answer that? Or DPW? Who marks, what department's responsible?
Yeah, that's my next question. Who's responsible for that?
Or
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Are all your vehicles marked?
are all the
And Department
required
of Public
vehicles?
Works?
All
Department of
city
Public
vehicles.
Works, well, I can't speak to all city vehicles because I'm sure police have vehicles that don't. I'm not sure about
Okay,
fire.
that's understandable. Mayor Pleco, would you like to answer that in regards to all
I'll
of
make a
the
review to see what's still not unmarked.
The ones that are required to be marked should be marked. If not, it's an ordinance violation, and that person should be, or that group should be cited somehow.
Either that, mark it or park it, maybe.
Yeah, it's not your personal vehicle.
But as far as the DPW is concerned, all their vehicles are marked, including the director's vehicle.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had 3 points, and you just touched on one of them. The first one is, and I know item 9G was pulled off the agenda, but I do want to state, because thank you for being here, by the way, because when I saw that, I was very concerned, because I don't think senior trips should be held hostage over a forensic audit, which is needed. And we talked about that. So thank you for being here, and your concern is certainly our concern. One thing I do want to say is I did a lot of, and I've been on council 8 years, now this is my 8th year, and the senior trips, from my understanding, and I have looked at this, my understanding is seniors pay for their trips, okay? They're paying for their expenses.
Yes, I've been
So
on them.
therefore, if the city's issuing a check or using a credit card, there should be some type of balance sheet that shows all the incoming that you pay, your revenue, and all of the expenditures, and they should actually match up. And that's my recommendation. I think
So
if that
it
was
might be
something
an
that was
accounting
available to
error.
council as a tool, that would put all those questions aside. Okay? So that's the first thing. You already asked the question about the ordinance and enforcement of that ordinance, because we are all sworn by oath, every one of us, to uphold local ordinances as well as state and federal laws. It's part of our oath. I don't understand why those cars aren't labeled. And we keep kind of dancing around it. Of course, we know the police have cars that aren't going to be marked because they're used for undercover work. We get that. Okay, we're talking about your city fleet. We know ordinance is marked because we could see it out in the parking lot. But all due respect, Mr. Mayor, is your car marked? Or are you parking it because you're not using it? And it's not just you, it's any city vehicle that's a city-owned car should be marked, and that's about safety, by the way, for an identification. So that's my question, because I know, when we do something that's not considered right, we get a legal opinion on it, right? We're told, council, you can't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. How does this work? This is a two-way street. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. With that being said, the last thing I have is more good news for our residents. With the governor's office, I hope you all have seen that she's made her recommendation and her petition to President Trump to get federal support dollars for our flood victims. So that is wonderful news, but that brings me back to another piece that needs to be addressed. And the council body, I'm going to ask you, as well as the mayor and the administration, that we need to revisit the 2010 consent judgment and talk to Wayne County. I've already asked for an appointment to say this needs to happen. That proposal with the basin added at the old incinerator plant would help alleviate some of the flooding, and we need to revisit that. We can't just bank on the federal appropriations. We can't count on federal appropriations for the big fix, but we can talk about and act, walk the talk on that 2010 consent judgment. Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I give an update on that? We met as the council with our attorneys, and I don't want to give people false hope. However, we directed our corporation council to notify the Army Corps of Engineers and Wayne County on getting immediately started under a reduced plan, which the Army Corps of Engineers thought they could approve at the local level. And so that is proceeding, and we will keep the public updated. And we have some, in fact, the man was here, but our attorney McCulley, and at any point in time that the council would like to meet with him, but he had been given, I had asked you for permission to direct him, and you granted as a council to direct him to go for an immediate smaller fix to help our residents ASAP.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Bazey.
I want to actually go over what some of the items that the mayor mentioned. He used, again, to push his agenda, and I did talk to a few senior citizens. I just want to reiterate, one of the things is we never mess around with senior citizens trips or anything because they've done so much for us. Mm-hmm. And like I said, right. You guys do so much. You've given so much for us. I have so much respect for our seniors, and I always say is we got to take care of our seniors because they took care of us, and we got to take care of our kids because they're our future. And I know I've talked to a few senior citizens, and they did mention that they were basically told to stop this forensic audits or their senior trips will cease. And the concerns that I've had, in the past, which the mayor failed to say earlier, is the reason why we have a forensic audit, and what I said at the last meeting is there's the last 10 at least years of audits that were done, there's a lot of repeat findings, same findings that you don't even see at a grade school. I've seen this. I'm not a financial genius, as the mayor said, but I can read a financial audit. It's a lot of findings that should have been done by somebody who doesn't have a degree in accounting, and it doesn't get corrected. I mentioned also the water rates. The water rates keep increasing. They keep increasing the water rates, and they use the water fund as a cash cow, and the residents are paying for this. And we mentioned also the CSO fund. That wasn't mentioned. We overcharged the residents, and that was never, addressed. And that's some of the reasons why we requested a forensic audit, and what I mentioned at the last meeting, part of my resolution, and also the PEG fees. We still don't have an answer on that. That's why we need a forensic audit. Also, the FEMA grants. We've gotten a few $1 million from FEMA because of flooding issues, and I know some of these homes were not, still not purchased, and that's one of the things that we need accountability for. And again, some of these homes, a lot of residents have suffered from the last flooding because of this issue. And, when I did ask for the appraisals, I was given an appraisal, but there was still a gap of a few $1 million from what FEMA gave us and what we told that we paid for. So that's a huge issue with me. And I also mentioned excessive credit cards that we have. One of the meetings when somebody requested a credit card, we said, oh, we don't really have that many credit cards, but yet we're paying excessive credit card payments. And there's a lot of items that that we're paying for and you guys are paying for as residents exceeds the amount that the city council approves. Way exceeds it, and it doesn't get in front of us. I have looked at, for the last 2 years of stuff, there's a lot of items on the check registry that does not match what we approve as a council. So that's a concern to me. It's not the senior citizen strips. The senior citizen strips, I'll be the first one to approve it because like you guys said, you guys reimburse and you guys pay for your own trips. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about something is saying is used as a senior trip, but is not used as a senior trip. And the forensic audit is going to actually bring that to light. That's all I want.
Council Chair?
Thank you. Councilman Muscat.
I think that's enough with the senior trips. All I just got to say is I'm a senior and I enjoy those trips, and I'm not stopping them because I'm going to keep going. So
and I got to say the same.
That's with me. I'm a senior. I paid into those things, and boy, what a wonderful time it is to spend with everybody on the bus. So we have fun and joking around and talking. And anyway, that's enough of that. There's my big question now is the golf course. We have yet, and I've talked to the manager there, we have not given him a vote of confidence yet on the management of the golf course. We were supposed to bring people in. We brought, the mayor, administration brought one person in. We bought, as a council, we got together and we brought somebody in. No decision was made. Now we need to get off the pot here. We want to be able, this guy doesn't want to make any investments because he doesn't know if he's going to be around. We need to either give him the green light, so maybe this place will be open during the winter months with golf simulators and other things where we can make money during the winter months. So we can utilize a restaurant for lunch, at least lunch during the winter months, but even dinner time, take your significant other, spouse, whatever, children, grandchildren, and go have a burger and watch some TV, or look at the nice surroundings of the golf course. We need to get that done, and we need to get it done as of yesterday. We can't wait around any longer. Okay, we've been dilly-daddling with this thing for over a year. Okay, the last time it was a liquor license that we were waiting on. It's done, over with. We own it. Let's either approve this guy or get somebody in there now. That's the way I'm looking at it, council people.
Okay,
if I'm too firm, please let me know, but that's the way I feel.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, if I might. I just want to make one comment because I know you don't want to do it. I don't know who said that if a forensic audit was eliminated, senior trips would continue. They are not related. The fact was, I asked you to go see the meeting 4 weeks ago, see what Mr. Bazzi said, and then you tell me the attack was on credit cards and for the trips. I just need it as an administration because it was implied that we were somehow going on these trips, abusing the system. I eliminated almost every credit card. The police department has one, the treasurer has one. I don't know who else has a credit card because they were all eliminated.
Okay, Councilman Muscat.
You know, Mr. Mayor,
Parks and Recreation Director.
the letter was put out by Mr. Haddad. Was it Mr. Haddad that put the letter out, or was it you?
Mr. Haddad.
Okay.
Mr. Haddad?
Was it from your
Was this-
direction, or was it just him?
What did he do on his own?
He put it out.
Was it with your direction?
I signed, concurred in it.
You have oversight of him. But you have.
I guess it's
oversight
not the senior trips that's in question. It's just that some people have questions that some things that are listed as senior trips were not actual senior trips, that they were funded for something else but put under that line item. So that's what the question was.
This is what I object to. There are irresponsible comments made. If you want to question something,
Mayor,
give us the
please
question and we'll try
be
to
acknowledged
answer it.
before you speak.
No, these are serious
Please be
allegations
acknowledged before
that are
you speak.
continuously.
Point of order.
You don't want to hear the truth.
Point of order. No, I just ask out of respect for your city council meeting, you ask to be acknowledged before you speak, like everyone else does. I don't come to any of your meetings and speak out of turn, and I would appreciate the same respect. Councilman Abdullah.
Just want to say that I, for one, I'm definitely in favor of continuing the senior trips, and at the same time having conversations with different council members. I don't believe anybody had any inclination of canceling those. So all of us, I don't want to speak as a body, but I can tell you we've had conversations with different council members. Nobody has any plans of canceling them. And from what I've understood from the administration, speaking with people in administration,
They don't want
their main thing was just trying to clarify some of the accusations that were thrown out and trying to make sure that that money was not used by other sources. I'll just leave it at that. Right. And so they said, if we're going to do senior trips, everything has to be approved by the council. Any expenses have to be approved by the council. That's all this was. And I don't believe in my heart that this was all about canceling a senior trip, which either way, whether the administration wants it or not, I'd be against canceling them altogether. I definitely want them to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments from the table? Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, we have received approval from the state on the ballots. The ballots have been submitted to the printer. I got word from the printer this afternoon that he's going to begin printing. We anticipate having the ballots in a week to 10 days. Our target date to mail is July the 2nd. July the 2nd. We never missed a target date yet. We don't, unless there's something unforeseen, a catastrophe, a disaster, they will be mailed that day. I will apprise, there's a couple candidates here in the audience. I will keep you apprised of the progress of that, several candidates. And with that being said, any more information on the elections will be forthcoming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Council Chair.
Councilman Wenzel?
I just had one more thing to say about the Spirit Festival. It was very successful. My hat goes off to the Recreation Department putting this on. Deputy Director Kim Conson, Director Brian Haddad did a fantastic job. It's not just a couple months leading up, it's a year-long process. Did a fantastic job. I hope someone from the Rec Department will come up and speak when public speaks about how it went. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? At this time, I'd like to open it up for public announcements within our community.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. I just wanted to announce this year's summer reading kickoff parties at both libraries. Join us as we embark on this year's theme, A Universe of Stories. We will have games, crafts, and treats for all attendees. So come on out and register and earn rewards. Kids, teens, and adults are welcome. The fun kicks off at Carroll Kennedy Library, Friday, June 21st at 1 p.m., and at John F. Kennedy Jr. Library, Saturday, June 22nd at 1 p.m. I hope to see you there. That's all for now. Thanks for your time, and see you at the library.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Nancy Breyer, Colgate Street. I hate following him. He's always so expressive. Okay. First, I'd like to announce that the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association had a meeting on May 23rd. Our location didn't work out so well. It was the bowling alley. And they had a lot of visual things that were disruptive. Plus, they went and decided to take money from a birthday party group that was a little bit of competition. So we did have over 31 people show up, and 5 of our city council members were there. And I really appreciate their coming. And Mr. Wenzel helped me hold the flag because we had no base for it. So we did our Pledge of Allegiance, and it worked out rather well. We had our ordinance director was also there. He's always helpful. And I just wanted to announce that our next meeting will be on June 27th. We have a new location. It will be at 3335 Beach Daily, the administration office for the Westwood Community School District. We had the 2 superintendents speak from District 7 and Westwood. They did a great job. They played off each other. It was beautiful. We learned a lot about what's going on. And we put them to the test that we had a problem with where to have our meetings. And Westwood won because the superintendent, Dr. Stiles, said they have a chef. So I don't know if they're really going to feed us, but I did check, and we will be able to serve coffee and have either
air conditioning.
And it is air conditioned. So we welcome you to come, and that will be on June the 27th, 7 to 9 p.m. at 3335 Beach Daily. And everybody's welcome. And then the speaker, one of the speakers I have so far is Dr. Rubina. She's been on Dr. Oz. She's an author. I believe she lives in Ann Arbor. She's currently a chiropractor. Her subject matter is going to do with mindset masterclass anxiety. So we all need help with that. And there will be another speaker as well. I'm firming it up. And then I just want to give you advance notice, July, the 4th Thursday of the month. It's always going to be the 4th Thursday. And we will have meetings through October. So you'll know the place, and you're all welcome. And especially the July meeting, we intend to have as our main speakers all the people running for council seats. So I see 2 new ones here, and I see 3 other ones there. I don't know if I'm missing anybody, but you all will be invited to be our featured speakers that evening so that the citizens will have a chance to see you and ask you personal questions about how you intend to handle things. So please feel free, both the north and the south end, to come and listen to who's running for your elective offices. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further public announcements? Okay, is this for within the community?
Good evening. My name is Dick Fetzer. I have been a businessman in Dearborn Heights since 1985.
Okay, but is this in regards to a community announcement like the library?
Yes,
okay.
it is. It's regarding the Lions, if you don't.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thanks.
But I'd like to plug my business, too, if you don't mind.
That's why I was wondering where you're going with that.
I have the best burgers in town, and it is in the south end. The mayor's been there. I haven't seen many of your council people here, but the main reason I'm here is to plug the Dearborn Heights Lions Club. We are having our 35th annual charity golf outing at Gateway Golf Course on June 28th. And a lot of the council people have always contributed to it. I want to tell you very briefly what the Lions Club has done, and I have been a member for 32 years. We contribute 3 $1,000 scholarships to seniors in high school in Dearborn Heights every year. We give out 35 $100 Kroger cards at Christmas time to the poor people in Dearborn Heights. We give out glasses free to people that qualify in Dearborn Heights. We give out hearing aids through the Lions Foundation to poor people in Dearborn Heights. Those are the things we do besides other things. So what I'm asking is everybody, please try to help us. I have flyers for everybody so they don't forget when it is. The mayor has always been there for the last 10 to 12 years, I believe, to support us and give out the prizes and get a free meal. No, I'm just kidding there. But anyways, the mayor has always supported us, and some of the council people have supported us. John J. Riley has supported us. Gavin has supported us. A number of people in the city have supported us, and I'm asking all of you to try to support the Lions Club. Thank you.
Thank you very
for your
much.
time.
I've had a burger at your place, by the way.
All right. What is it? I see, it's good.
Public announcement.
Yes. Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to give a quick update about the block grant that we have applied to with the federal government. The block grant, we're in the process of filling up a lot of reports at this point. We're in contact with HUD. We're filling up all the ERRs, which are the environmental review reports, and hopefully we will get our money sooner than we think this year. So that money should be available to us probably in about a month and a half or so. Again, I'd like to thank the councilmen and the councilwomen that voted for that, because the block grant does help over $100,000 to the senior centers. Other than that, the senior centers would have had to close if that would have been voted down. Again, thank you again for your support. That's a quick update. We will get our money sooner than we think this year.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I speak about an item on the agenda or no?
You know what, I'm going to contact you privately because I don't want to air it here. But I'll tell you what I got. Are you talking about 6-7?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk private.
Is that like tomorrow, day after? Because I've got...
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. Director Brian Haddad from the Parks and Recreation Department. Just wanted to give you a quick update about Spirit Festival. Don't have final numbers as of yet for our profit and loss, but we had a record year. Every night set a record in the carnival, and we didn't set a record. We blew out the previous records every night. Thank you. A lot of thanks also goes out to Kim Constance for doing what she has done as well. She's done a great job with that while nobody was in the director's position. But just some preliminary numbers. Total, our best year, what we've done before was $162,000 at the carnival and change. This year, we did over $82,000 more than that. So we had a total of $244,000 in change, which our 25% cut is $64,000, 300 and something. I don't have that number written down because I want to get everything in stone before I give you the exact numbers. So it was a really good year for the Spirit Festival, and I look forward to doing more in the future.
Thank you. Councilman Abdullah?
Just want to say, job well done. It was a well-oiled machine. I mean, seen it, beautiful job. But I just want to do a little shout out, because one of the things that I did notice, I don't know if that was by design or by approval or not, but I did notice that the owner of the shopping center at the corner of Beach Daily and Ford Road, consistently, he's done this every year, Haidar Kusan, which is the owner of Greenland Market, has consistently allowed people to park in his shopping center. I don't know if you guys get permission or not, but obviously he allows it. So I just want to give a shout out to him for being a good neighbor, and that's great. That's what we got to do, is work together as a city. So it's beautiful. Yes. So yes, good job. And good job for you and Deputy Director too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Abdullah, thank you for mentioning that, because people really don't know that.
Is that authorized? I'm just curious, Brian. I mean, did he give you guys permission, or does he just let it go?
No, I think he just lets it do it.
He just lets us do it. I don't think we've ever reached out to him, but you know,
the guy never ceases to amaze me. He's just a good man. So
just because, and I didn't know that beforehand, I will actually personally send out a thank you letter to him.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any other public announcements? Okay, is this an announcement about a public event?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good evening, Council Mayor. My name is Jake Woods. I'm a property manager for HP Snap Investment. Last year, the City Council voted yes on the CAP program, which was to allow the city to maintain the control of the already tax foreclosed parcels in your city. After an RFP, we were selected and we were awarded 3 of those properties. Of those 3 properties, we've completed and sold 2 of them already, both to homeowners that intend to occupy the homes indefinitely. We completed the 3rd one. We're just waiting on the final city inspection to be able to list that on the market. And I plan to send an invite for the open house on the final one. We put a little extra love and care into this one. went a little above and beyond what we were supposed to do. We want to invite the council and the mayor to come take a look at the investment that's being made into this program. Each home has been completely remodeled from the top to bottom with the future homeowner in mind. We made a commitment to use energy efficient fixtures throughout the home. Beyond making the property aesthetically pleasing, we also strive to reduce the energy consumption and the subsequent costs that come with it. So I came here tonight for 2 reasons. One, to give you that brief update that we're well ahead of schedule on that. And number 2, the program is working and it's making an impact in the community. So the 2 properties that we sold increased the values by 18% in the respective blocks. And it's our recommendation that the city consider this program for the current year to ensure that those results continue. So thank you for your time, and thank you for what you do for the city.
Good job.
You know, I'd like to say, too, I did go to your last closing over on Polk Street, and I was very impressed with the high quality of materials that were used. That house, I could have never thought it would have looked that great. I mean, I thought I was in a high-end house in...
Everybody likes the feel of luxury, so we appreciate you coming out to do it.
It was very luxurious.
And we hope that the rest of
you guys did a really good job.
Council Chair.
Can you give us a kind of a date that you have in mind to go see this home? I mean,
it'll be completed by the end of the month for sure. So maybe early in the month of July.
Would you let us know?
100%. Yep.
Okay, thank you, please.
Council?
Yeah.
Council?
I'm sorry to bring it up here, and maybe we'll talk after, but, you know, you needed to get a release of lien from us, and there's only been a couple properties that I've ended up actually doing that. I don't know how you complied with
Okay,
the
well,
agreement.
we shouldn't be putting that out here.
Okay,
at
all right,
this.
all right. Well,
That'd be
let's talk
private.
after the meeting.
I do understand that there was a problem with quite a few of those in regards to that, because there was some misunderstanding. It was not put in the original contract, is what I was told.
Okay, it's actually...
So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements?
Yeah, hi. I'm Dolores Swan. I live on McDonald in the South End. And I want to clear up a couple of misconceptions about our senior trip, since you did bring it all up. Number one, we don't do casinos. We've never done a casino. That's a private group that actually brings their bus and meets at the senior centers to pick up their passengers. We've never done it. And yes, Kim Conson, as acting deputy director, she's been the one responsible for getting us these reasonable prices, her and our trip coordinator. They give us reasonable prices, and she's also able to, her education allows her to, she writes for grants and gets buses for us for free. She gets free use of buses to go on these trips, and it's due to her hard diligence and hard work that we are able to do this. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, we would all be lost. We would all be lost if anything happens to our trips because of these misconceptions. We've never done a casino trip. I don't even remember going to a sporting store before either. So that must be some kind of private trips. It's not the seniors.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Kim Constant. I live at 5527 Heather Lane, Dearborn Heights. The senior trip program was one of the first programs I started when I became the Dearborn Heights Parks and Recreation Deputy Director, because my name was mentioned in Agenda Item 9G from Director Haddad, and his request to the City Council offered stopping the senior trips as a solution to another problem. Many seniors have contacted me by phone, email, and in person with their worries about losing a program that is so precious to them. These trips offer both opportunity to get out of the house and socialization that increases their quality of life. I am not sure why my name was mentioned in this document, other than to implicate to the seniors that I had something to do with this request that was brought to the City Council today. I am being told that this agenda item is being spun at one of the senior centers like it was my idea. It was not my idea, and I had nothing to do with it, nor was I personally informed about it by my boss, Mr. Haddad. I had to view it online like everyone else did. Up till now, the personal attacks have just been directed at me. But now I feel that the programs I have created are in danger of being attacked too. I would not destroy something I worked so hard to build. I started this program in 1990. It took a lot of hard work and has grown to include 2,698 individual senior participants today. It has helped our senior population beyond measure and has made the Dearborn Heights Senior Citizens Program to be known as one of the best, maybe even in the state. These trips are subsidized by the SMART millage money that was voted in by our residents of Dearborn Heights. The SMART millage money pays for the transportation cost and enables even the low-income seniors to participate. Then the seniors are charged an individual fee that may incur during the day of that trip. The trips The trips do not lose money, and we charge a small administration fee to cover the staff's registration time. It's a win all around for the city and the senior residents of our community. I am and have always been the administrator of the trip program since its inception, but I am not the person who signs or approves checks requests for the places that we go. The director of the Parks and Recreation Department has always had that task. Our past director, Ken Greibel, signed the check requests for over 30 years. When a check request for a trip is turned into the comptroller's office, an invoice or receipt is attached. So there's no question in regard to its validity. It's a very important program, and we've got to protect it for the wellness of our senior community. It is a lifeline for the recently widowed, the seniors that are no longer able to drive, and the seniors who have no family residing near them. Our senior population has made this world what it is today. We should respect that, respect them, and not use something so precious to them to accomplish other goals. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comments?
Yes, right here.
Step up to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Walter Keith Bankwitz. I'm a resident of Dearborn. I'm 71 years old. I enjoy the senior trips. I have another vantage point to judge them because for 36 years I was a professional fundraiser. I'm aware of the best practices of fundraising. One of them is get everything donated. And the other one is avoid waste at all costs. And these trips exemplify those best practices. I've been an active participant for the Berwyn Senior Trip Program since 2015. I have noted these observations. The trips are paid for by the residents of Dearborn Heights and non-residents of surrounding communities. Bus transportation is provided through grants from SMART. Trips are developed by the Dearborn Heights Parks and Recreation staff and promoted through a monthly newsletter. There are at least 8 trips a month. Most trips are reasonably priced. Trips are varied and many are suggested by residents and non-residents. Trips are usually oversubscribed and there is a waiting list. If the program wasn't any good, that wouldn't happen. Residents provide tips to the bus drivers. The service provided through these trips is excellent. There are no middlemen. Dearborn uses Bianco travel and surcharges are incurred. That doesn't happen in Dearborn Heights. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comments? State your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Nancy Breyer, Colgate Street. And to add to it, most everybody's taken away the thunder, but I want to thank all the members of the council who agreed that it's a great program that we're doing. And to announce for people who aren't aware, in addition to what's been said, our trips are administered by the 2 wonderful ladies, Cheryl, who's not here, and Kim. The grants that are acquired to assist with our transportation costs. We also have craft shows, flea markets, book sales, fabric sales. So we're kind of self-supporting. And we have people from Allen Park and Taylor and Dearborn that wait list to go on these trips because ours are much better than anyone else's. So I just want everybody to know how great it is. Non-residents do pay $5 more for each trip. And we don't discriminate, though, but we want to make sure it's all covered. And we do one thing that not everybody does. We have people go on our trips with air difficulties breathing. I was reminded by one of our ladies from Berwyn. Her husband gets to go, and we have a lady named Barbara from Eaton. We did have Frank and Virginia that have assistance from people like Lou and Sam that otherwise wouldn't go. These people are in their 90s, and I would say our average age has to be pushing 80 now in the senior center, and these people are active because of what we have here. So we do want to keep it, and thank you for agreeing.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Come to the microphone, state your name, address, and...
It's not a public comment.
It's public comment now.
Kind of. I just turned 66, so I realize I am a senior now.
And you did ask for permission, so I did grant it.
Yeah, I did ask today for permission to speak on a couple issues. Good evening, everyone. I came from a country and from a family of 12 children. My mom and dad didn't have a TV at the time. We learned when we were very young that we take care of our elder like they took care of us. We don't believe of sending them to nursing home or hospitals or any place but our homes. And that's why I expect the same treatment which I expected for my mom and dad, for every senior citizen in our town. Because they build our schools, they build everything we enjoy today when they were young, and they deserve everything we give them right now. And those trips, they should be on the city, they should be on the taxpayers, not on their pocket. That's how it should be. That's how we show our respect for them. There should be a line item in the budget for some of the trips. Not everyone, but there should be something. I thank Bill Bazzi very, very much for asking the questions about the cash registry. That is your duty, and the duty every one of you, the 7 of you sitting there. Every month you should have copy of the cash registry to see what money was spent and why it was spent, and if there is an invoice attached to it, and if it is legitimate or it is misused. I'm not going to say there is anything stolen, God forbid. My experience with the PEG program, with other programs, I want you guys, the 7 of you, to ask for the cash registry, and I would like all my fellow citizens to hear a little story happened in my living room a few years back. When Janet Badalo, councilwoman, used to ask about the cash registry, our mayor used to go berserk. How could she ask? To the point when she came for re-election, and at that time I was on good terms with him, he brought Joseph Campbell to my living room with 2 city council members, I'm not going to mention their names, and director of one of his departments. He convinced the guy to run against Janet Badalo because he wants to get rid of her because she's asking too many questions. So I want you guys to understand what kind of personality we have here. The second thing, I don't want to elaborate more than that. Second thing, we've been 7 months without director of building. Why? I can't find any reason why we don't have director for building and safety in this town. 7 months without head of department. Are we looking for somebody who's capable to go run in city car, city time to collect $50,000 for the campaign of our mayor in next election, like the previous one did? Those are numbers you can see in his financial statement. It's online. Go look at it. Most of the contributors of $1,000 had favors done by the previous building director, one way or another. And I stand by my words. I am asking the city council, you don't have the power to do lots of things because of the charter, but you do have the power, which we invested in you, to put initiative on the ballot in November that if the mayor refuse or fail to hire heads of department or the right people to the right position within, let's say, 60 days, then that power goes to the city council to look within 30 days to hire somebody and approve that position by simple majority in the city. You have that power, start using it, because apparently lots of times we're going to end up in courts and spend money for force him to basically obey an ordinance which he refused to obey or refused to sign. So it's on you, and I thank you for what you're doing, because you are the best city council I have seen in 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack McIntyre, Hazelton Street. Last September, Mohammed Sob resigned from his position, and I was asked by the mayor to oversee the building department. And I'm getting a little irritated that there's innuendos. It's not the first time that this has happened. In fact, someone on the council made the same innuendo that there are improprieties going on in the building department. I invited this council person to come, and I've never gotten a phone call. I'll show you anything that you want to show you that we are doing things correctly in the building department. I'm not being compensated because you chose not to give the mayor the budget to do that, but I'm doing it because I know it's the right thing to do. And if anybody wants to come and make an appointment, I will personally show you all the files in the building department, our process, all the process improvements that we're going through. We're cleaning things up, we're organizing things, we're making it more efficient. We're getting lots of feedback that people like what's happening. So, if you have a question for me, then come and ask me.
Jack, you're doing a great job.
No, you can't get up here and say something
Okay,
like that
okay,
and then
keep-
tell me I'm
keep-
doing a good job.
Let's keep, hey, point of order, let's go ahead and
This is
speak.
not political.
No, go ahead and
I'm
speak.
doing a good job. I'm working very hard. I work 7 days a week. And I just heard from a council member that there's a reason why I'm not getting my raise. And several of you know why. My pay was cut by $21,000, and I continue to give 100% of myself every single day. I was scheduled to take a vacation day tomorrow. I've already had to cancel it because something came up in the building department that has to be addressed tomorrow. I'm really getting tired of this. And we're not working as a team. We've stopped working as a team 2 years ago. All the accusations. I'm only working 4 days a week, but everybody contacts me on Facebook on the weekend and wants me to address something. It's either one way or the other. But I am not going to be insulted anymore about doing things that are not correct. I do correct things, and I'm making sure that the building department is doing things correctly. Come and visit me, make an appointment, and I'll show you.
Jack
Thank
does
you.
a great job.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
She's already had one.
I'm sorry, Dolores, you've already been up once. You can't come up twice. That's the rules.
Well, I didn't know about that rule.
I do. You got to sit back down, sorry.
She came up under announcements.
Yeah, that's right, it was a different thing.
She came up
Thank
under
you.
public comment.
No, she came up under public comment, and we can only allow
Well,
once.
obviously,
I'm
somebody's
sorry, but we
right.
can't allow it.
We need a new director, otherwise Jack
Okay, all
McIntyre
right,
wouldn't be
thank you.
doing
We
two
need-
people's jobs.
Go ahead.
And I'm sure he does a
We
good
got
job.
people waiting over here that haven't had a first try. Okay, please step up to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
I'll take less than that. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jamal Bazi, Dearborn Heights resident. In regards to the Spirit Festival, I have a concern. I have 2 major questions I'd like to have answers for, if possible. The number 1 question is, are these machines at the festival being inspected by our department, safety department, building and safety department? Okay, number 2 questions. Are the employees of the Spirit Festival tested for drugs and alcohol before operating these machines in Bush? Do they have to or not? For the safety of our children, please.
I think that would be the employer of, you're talking about the rides? Yeah, that's the employer that would be responsible
I
for
think
doing
that's
that.
I just wanted to put this
I believe
in,
that's
that's
a
all.
state mandate, but with the carnival system in Michigan, I do believe. And I don't know if anybody here in the city is really qualified to check these rides. They're mechanical instruments, and I'm sure that, again, under state law, that they go through some heavy inspections, maybe not when they set up at every ride, but I'm sure they come up, just like, you know, you get Cedar Points, they're always inspected on a timely schedule. I just don't think there's anybody in the city qualified to check them.
They're certified by the state.
Correct, and that's what the point that I'm
Okay.
making.
All right,
So-
thank you very much.
Thank you, okay.
Madam Chair, I think those are 2 good things to look into for next year's festival.
Any further comment, concerns? Go ahead, please.
Hi, Dana Parrish, 5614 Grinley Park. I wanted to bring up a couple of points really quickly, and I had another one I wanted to bring up. One is on the this is going back a little bit, the May 14th, 2019 meeting. I've reviewed the YouTube tape at about 1 hour and 52 minutes and 8 seconds into the meeting. The Director Salmi brought up, was talking about the backhoe when that the city purchased, and he was asked about whether it was a backhoe or a front loader, and he said it was a backhoe. And I have the information on the specific model here, and it is, according to the Caterpillar website, it is a backhoe loader. Second thing was the Finn hydro seeder, which the city purchased. And Councilman Wenzel asked at about 37 minutes and 28 seconds of that same meeting, he said, it's a massive machine. And again, Director Salmi said, this is the smallest one they make. I went to the website, found 2 hydro seeders, which are smaller. We purchased the 750 gallon, there's a 600 gallon and a 335 gallon. But he was asked in direct, and he said that that was the smallest one they make. I don't know if there's a misquote or what the problem was on that one. And on the May 28th meeting, which is the most recent regular city council meeting, there was, I didn't go to that meeting, there was a lot of conflict regarding the mosque. I'm a retired police officer from Taylor. I've got a lot of respect for the officers in Dearborn Heights. I work with a lot of them. Excuse me. I went to the academy with Jason Mikowski, so it's really personal to me. So I know a lot of the officers, younger officers I don't know, but I got a lot of respect for the officers here in this department. I know they're capable of, one of their biggest jobs is officer discretion. And when I hear the situation that happened with the mosque, although it didn't affect me directly, I know they're more than capable of being told by a supervisor, whether it's the chief of police or whoever, the sergeant or lieutenant, hey guys, we got a situation here. I don't know why we didn't just set up a detail, a mosque detail, put a sergeant or a lieutenant in charge of that, and say these are our guidelines, and then put a command post, set up a command post for these officers, and dispatch them out that way, rather than saying, making a big deal of this, coming to a city council meeting, and then looking at city councilmen and women, excuse me, and saying, I want you to vote on this. Should we enforce this? Should we enforce the law? I've never seen a chief of police, no disrespect, chief, but I've never seen a chief of police go before city council and say, I want you to raise your hands and tell me whether I should enforce the law. I've never seen that in my life. You do your job, whatever your job, because 3 months prior to that, we had a big blow up in the same council chamber about school bus or school crossings and kids at the drop-off points and all these parents getting ticketed. Nobody went to the council and say, well, should I do my job? No, the officers, through the chief of police, did what they had to do. So now we're turning around and we're asking whether we should do our job. No, set up a command post, set up a detail, which we did for the festival. I'm sure they had a detail, a Spirit Fest detail. And they set up a command post and they did what they did. We did that countless times when I was a police officer. We had details. I don't understand. And then council people came up with ideas. Members of the audience I saw came up with ideas to meet with the mosque and do other things to come up with ideas. That's what a police department administrator does. They come up with ideas. I don't understand how that was a big deal. And if somebody makes a mistake, if something was done inappropriately, just say, you know what, I didn't look at it that way. And say, you know what, that maybe the way we did it wasn't the most appropriate way to do it. There's nothing wrong with being a grown man or woman and say, maybe I did things the wrong way. That's a respectful thing to do. People actually look up to you when you say, I made a mistake, or maybe I didn't see things that way. Thank you very much for hearing me.
And he did ask for
David
extra.
Della, would you?
Go ahead, Councilman Abdullah.
So I just want to address a couple of things. Just from my recollection, what the chief asked is, do you want strict enforcement? That was the key thing, whether they want super strict enforcement. Second thing I want to say is, it's been like I mentioned at the last council meeting, there's been many conversations between the police department, people in the mosque, the constituents of the people that go to the mosque, and the board of directors in the mosque to try to resolve this issue. And as I mentioned last time, I don't want to get into too much details, but I've already said the wheels have started turning, including myself personally, conversation with the two young ladies that had had some very serious concerns. I'll just say I felt it was a little emotional, their concerns, but I'll just leave it at that. But either way, we've addressed them. I personally met with one of the two young ladies and made an open invitation to the second one. And in addition to that, I gave a letter to all the council people here to have a town hall meeting at the mosque where the residents are being invited individually at home with the same letter that the council people received to come in and meet with the people from the mosque, try to help find some sort of a resolution and some sort of a compromise. Nobody wants any harm to any residents, and no residents want any harm to any house of God. Thank God we're going to work together to help resolve this issue, including the police department, and I thank them for everything they've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Hi, my name is Angela Venegas. I live on Dwight Street, and I have the same concerns as the gentleman before me did. My son's a police officer, and I really take offense that they were told not to do their job when people were breaking the law. They took an oath to protect and to serve the community, no matter what side you're on. People don't park on other people's lawns. People don't yell F off to people and then nothing is done about it. It's just insane, the disrespect from both ends. It just seems like in this city, anything goes anymore. You have to draw the line. The law is the law, and it needs to be enforced. They took an oath, and for somebody who's above them, think they're above the law and tell them they can't do something, it's not right. Something has to be done.
Thank you. Name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Hassan Bazzi. I live on Sheehan Highway, by the way. It's not a street, it's a highway. It's ridiculous. It is. A couple comments here about the Spirit Festival. I've seen, we thank the city, we thank the people who were involved. Actually, we should thank the community that came out and supported the Spirit Festival. I went to pick up my daughter, serious. For the money that they made, the community came, I mean, at large, and they did support the festival very well. I went to pick up my daughter. I mean, it's very costly, but beside the point. On Beach Daily, crossing from one side to another, I mean, I went at night. It's dangerous. So that should be taken in consideration, hopefully, for the next year. For the money that the city made or the festival, they can hire, probably young people from the community to help the people cross from one side to another. It's dangerous at night, and a lot of people stop at the street try to pick up their kids. So that hopefully it will be taken in consideration. My second point, I'm not sugarcoating this. I've been coming to the city council meeting. I know the serious citizen issue has been brought up every meeting. I just want to say it. Let's keep them out of the politics of the city, what's going on. Let these people enjoy their time. Serious, no. I mean, enough is enough. Let them enjoy their life. Let them enjoy, I mean, you guys, there's a lot of politics involved. We know there's a lot of issues. So keep the citizens, the senior citizens out of this. I mean, that would be a nice thing to do. Last comment for Mr. McIntyre. I mean, if there's too much, I mean, I see how you're taking it personal, and I'm a citizen. I'm afraid if you come tomorrow in a bad mood, hopefully not, to take it on us and the citizen. I know you're under pressure. I mean, this needs to be addressed. If you need help, maybe you need to go to your mayor, to the city council. I mean, you don't have to take all of this. If you need to take a vacation, go take a vacation. You don't need to get under pressure here. And you don't have to take it personally. I mean, we work. We know you're under pressure. You know, trying to do the best. Thank you. But
no,
if you need
if I can just clarify, I didn't say I was under pressure. I just don't appreciate people making accusations that there's improprieties going on when I'm in charge of that department. I've never complained about the assignment that was given to me, not once.
I'm not saying this.
But there have been suggestions from the council and now some community folks that are making suggestions that there's improprieties going on. When I'm in charge, that's not happening. And I invited people to come, and I can show them our process in the building department.
Thank you. Let the residents speak, please.
Maybe this is the time, it's about the time. If this position needs to be filled, let's fill it with the right person, with the qualified person. Also, we need to know what is the specification for this job and who's going to be in charge of this job. You know, I mean, it's about the time that we fill some gaps here, and let's move forward with the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Real quick, Mr. Bazey? I want to thank you for bringing up the subject about crossing at Beach Daily. This is something that has to be brought forward, and I forgot to say it at my public comment, about a crossing section for students from Crestwood High School going from east side of Beach Daily to the west side of Beach Daily instead of having to walk all the way to Ford Road or to Wilson. I don't care what we do. We own Beach Daily. That's our street. I don't care if we paint crosshatch marks on it, reduce the speed to 25 miles an hour during school hours. We must do something to protect our kids. And I don't care if it costs $1 million. Give me a price tag on one person's life. I want a price tag.
That is dangerous.
And nobody can give me one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment?
Hussein Haj, Dearborn Heights. Madam Chair, I don't know if you can remember, 34 days exactly have sent an email to all of you guys along with the mayor. Back then he had an excuse that his email was not working. I'm just kind of curious, did my email landed yet? Did it landed? Yep. And what's your response?
I'm not going to respond.
Do you have a response?
I'm not going to respond.
No, I don't wish to respond right now.
I'm sorry?
I don't wish to respond right now.
When should I have a response? I think I'm talking to the mayor, Mr. Miyake.
No, say directed. I thought that was the rule, but
no,
whatever.
I'm talking to the mayor.
It's directed to the mayor.
The question, ladies and gentlemen, exactly if you guys would like to go back and look at it, back on May 7th of 2019, we had a situation right here when all the flood happened at the south end. We had 5 or 6 people complaining out here. Finally, a lady broke down in front of me, and I can never tolerate a lady or a child crying in front of me. That's when I got up and I told the mayor, I'm gonna take care of that lady. But you know what, Mr. Mayor? I was a man of my word. Because I went to that lady's house the same night. And guess what? When the sun rised, I was back at her house. Her furnace has been changed. And she's my sister. Probably she's not my sister from my mom and my dad, but she's my blood sister. Because she's a human as well. And I look for humanity. But ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that night, I was being harassed by both the mayor and his assistant. And that's not the first time. Excuse me, I'm talking right now. And it's not the first time. His assistant have threatened a lot of people, including city official and elected official. And when I sent him the email, his excuse was his email was not working. And now I asked him, did my email landed? He's saying yes. Does he ever respond? No. What are you expecting? Your pay, her pay, everybody's pay is coming from our pocket. Either you respect us, or guess what? You know how many doors there in this building? Do you know how many doors there in this building? You want to show respect? You're fired. Mr. McIntyre, you were super upset about Mr. Abdelhak. Then you ran back and you got super upset when Mr. Bazzi asked you about your position.
I get super upset.
Let me finish. Are you willing to meet up with me personally? You give me the date and the time. I'll come. But on record, if I show you the mistakes, and I'll show you everything in details, there's fraudulent happening from the department, from the building department, and favors are being done to some real estate agents. Are you willing to take that responsibility on yourself?
You should be directing this to you.
No, he's directing it to you because that's your department. I have nothing to do how you run your department.
But your meeting is supposed to come through you as the chair.
Okay, well, okay, I'm directing you to answer.
You have to ask me, do I want to answer the question?
Do you want to answer the question?
I do not.
That's quite a bit funny, Madam Chair. Once again, since he doesn't want to answer it, since Mr. Sob has been, let's say he decided to quit, as you just called it, September of 2018, why is his name still showing up on your building department paperwork up on June 6, 2019? The guy is not even here no more. Could you let him know that is illegal? Mr. Miyake, could you let him know that it is illegal?
I don't know if anything you're saying is true.
Would you like to see it?
Based on things that I've heard with respect to things you've said in the past, I don't know that it's true. So
Would you like to see it?
assume that it's correct.
Would you like to see it?
There seem to be no rules.
Okay, hold on a second.
I'm not sure.
Hold on a second.
Okay, wait a minute.
If you want me to,
Hold on.
if you want me to engage
You just
and talk to
accused me
him
of
about
bringing
this.
up.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
All right, point of order, guys.
Accuse me from bringing up
One at a time.
improper stuff.
Let's
You
do
pick up
one at a
member
time.
from the public. I'll let him see the papers.
Guys,
Pick somebody
one at a time.
right now. Pick somebody. You want to debate? Let's debate.
No, I'm not here to debate. I mean, if you
Then what are you here
wanna bring up
for?
About truthfulness, then maybe.
Then what are you here for?
That.
You
Okay,
pick
at
somebody.
this time, all right, let's get some order here. Thank you. Okay, any other public comment? Do I hear a motion to end our meeting?
You already commented. You can go twice.
I have 3 minutes, Madam Chair.
Correct.
My name is Joe Hashem. I live on 26560 Wilson Drive. Madam Chair, you did direct me earlier that on item 6.7 that you would contact me. I think that's not a personal matter. I think that's something that the whole council should be discussing. It should not be a conversation between yourself and myself. I have nothing to hide. It should be discussed along with your colleagues. That's number one. Number two, for all the seniors that came here, I just want you to know that last time we were here in this building, 3 city council members voted against the block grant, which meant that the senior centers would have been closed, staff would have been fired, and now they're saying, right up there, right on the podium, they're saying, we're for the seniors. We want to help the seniors. But yet they voted against that money. Just to let you know. That's fair and square.
I think you should
I didn't vote against the money.
Council Chair, but that didn't encompass the whole package.
No.
I know I voted for it.
And I
yes.
appreciate it, Councilman.
I voted for it, yes, but you're only picking a small portion of that CDBG grant, the money.
It's
and not the whole-
120,000, Councilman.
I understand that, but you got to take the whole thing. You know, a lot of times you read in a newspaper or Facebook or whatever that the Democrats didn't pass a bill to help the veterans. But what about was rest in a bill that they didn't pass because there was other things that were concerning to those other three council members in their defense?
Nobody ever told me, as a resident, nobody ever said up front what there were concerns about. The only concern that was mentioned was by one councilman about the flood, and I was very clear as a director of that department, that money cannot be used for flood money. The other two council members never and did not say why they voted $1.2 million not to be accepted from the federal government to my department. And they're on a podium, and they can address that and say why. Instead, they come and pick on one item, and it should be a public discussion. I don't want to get a personal call. If a personal call was due
Okay,
to
well,
me,
all right.
it would have been done to me prior to the meeting, not after or at the meeting, Council Chair. Thank you very
Just
much.
before the meeting today, I was given information that Dynamic Glazing Systems Incorporated,
Yes.
that you are the chief financial officer of that company.
That's not true.
Did not want to bring this
you
public and
can
embarrass
bring
you. I
it
thought
up.
we could discuss it
No,
privately.
you can bring it up, Madam Chair.
I mean, I pulled it because I had a question. I
Sure.
didn't say it was gone forever. I said we can bring
No,
it back in a couple
It should have been
weeks.
discussed in public with colleagues listening and addressing this, not
I
yourself.
understand, but like I said, I was just given this. I just got it at my
Whoever
house.
gave it to you should have gave it to you earlier, Madam Chair.
It was put in my mailbox in my door. I found it
Well,
a few
I'm aware of
hours
who gave
before
it
the
to you.
meeting, and I was contemplating on what to do. And so,
Ask me the question,
to
Council Chair.
avoid embarrassment, I'm
There's
going
no
to
embarrassment.
research this further before I speak more on it, because I'm just trying to do my homework before I speak.
Okay, but I
And
thought this the
on-
council
on what
would,
I have
and
in
the
front of
council have
me-
the right to
I'm not
vote
going to
on this
argue
thing.
with you. At this
I'm not
point,
arguing.
it'll come back in a couple weeks if we can figure this out and make sure it's correct, because I don't want anything coming back to me since I have possible knowledge that there's a conflict of interest on this.
Okay.
Council Chair?
Yes.
I mean, I personally, if that's not it, whatever it is that's out, I would like to know, do you have any type of interest, or are you a member of that particular organization, which I didn't catch the exact.
Dynamic?
Dynamic.
Councilman, this has been addressed with corporate counsel. It has been addressed with my personal attorney, not my personal attorney, but the attorney for the CDBG, and along with the FBI. Proper documentation was given to the FBI, and they're okay with it. So if you think you can do more digging than the FBI, then you are mistaken. You're not more.
If I may, what I was told is that he has no present interest in this company.
See, I was just trying to...
And that is what I said, then I don't see there being no
That was 3
problem.
years
You
ago,
have
Council.
no present interest, so.
Yes.
That's.
And the proper documentation was given to the FBI agents who did look into this.
Well, see, that's what I wanted to hear from
It
you.
was done, all it take a phone call.
Yeah. Well, it just happened just before I came here. So like I said, I just found it in my mailbox, in my door, because my door has a mailbox. It lands on the floor.
I appreciate your candor. Thank you very much. Let's enjoy Dearborn Heights, guys. It's a very beautiful city. All right? A lot of grass, a lot of flowers, a lot of trees. Enjoy it. Have a great
Have a good night. All right, do I hear a motion to end our meeting?
Motion to adjourn. Support.
Do I support by, okay, motion by Bazey, supported by Constant. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.